The first thing, I walk in, I'm giving a talk. I was 104th Infantry. And what are the chances of having anybody in here that's from the 104th? I can say anything I want, except 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are from the 104th, or their families are from the 104th, and we have brunch every month down at Bueller's. So I'm thinking, you know, I don't have to worry too. What's the chances of anybody being in the 104th being in this group? I can tell them anything I want. Oh, and I look at here they are. So this is interesting. The other interesting thing is that when I pulled in here, I'm at the door. Where am I? Driving around. There's two people in the doorway, and I yell, "Is this the library?" And it's two of my people over there. I don't even recognize it. But it was a kind of a white knuckle trip down here. I'm 92 years old, if you're wondering, and I drive at night, but not at rush hour night. At 6 o'clock, I'm eating supper. I'm on 77, I-77, right out of Cleveland. Holy smokes, this is bumper to bumper, 50, 60 miles an hour. I said, boy, I can't wait till I get off. I get on at 271. 271's the same way, 71's the same way. Route 18 is the same way. I'm in the every lane I'm in is I look up, there's an only right turn only. Oh, geez. Well, anyhow, this is kind of interesting tonight, and I get nervous. If you wonder, I get dry mouthed. I was going to start off with a story. Usually, war stories are kind of sad, kind of dreary. So I thought, well, instead of starting off with something like that, a war story, how about just a laughing story? I don't know if this is laughing or not. 4 ladies, widows, used to come to the senior center every Wednesday morning to play bridge and gossip. Probably gossip and then play bridge, but every Wednesday they're there. So this Wednesday, they would come in, sat down, and before they got started, Agnes says, girls, I've got an announcement to make. What is it, Agnes? I'm getting married. Oh, that's wonderful. That is so nice. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. One of the gals said, Agnes, is he handsome? And she said, he's 72 years old. He's got bald head. He's got a hearing aid. He wears glasses. And, you know, no, he's not handsome. He's a nice guy, but he's certainly not handsome. Is he sexy? Girls, come on now. This guy is 72. He's a nice guy and everything, but he's not sexy. You can't call a guy sexy that's bald, got glasses, and got a hearing aid, right? So they say, okay, is he rich? Ooh, no, he is not rich. He's living on his Social Security, a little pension from where he worked, but that's all. They said, Agnes, if he's not handsome, and he's not sexy, and he's not rich, why are you marrying him? He can drive at night. Which, as I'm driving down, I thought very appropriate. Here I am out there driving at night in all this traffic. I could see that. Yeah, I'm driving at night. Then the second shock, after traffic and all of that, I walk in, and there's a whole row of people that I have lunch with, brunch really, at Bueller's every month, and they're from the 104th Infantry. Now, normally, if I give a talk, something like this, who knows? I could tell you anything. How many guys were in the 104th? 1, 2, there's a whole row. So now I got a problem with saying something. I say, wait a minute, we never did this. This is different. So I'm going to do it anyhow. And I'm surprised at the number of people here. The last time was about half this, I guess, wasn't it? But anyhow, this last time I was here, I gave a story about what it was like for an 18-year-old kid to go into the Army, coming from a little town in Ohio, and going into the Army, going into war. And I gave you 3 impressions that I got from being in the Army for 3.5 years starting out as an 18-year-old kid. And it was practically my whole history from when I was in high school right on until I got discharged. And it was kind of long, and I could see, guys, oh my God, yeah, I can see his whole life story is coming. Tonight it won't be that long, because that one took me, that was from when I was 18, 3.5 years in the Army. This is going to be 3 days, a little shorter. Of course, I had to lib a little bit, but this is a 3-day story. The 104th, we went into combat up in Belgium and in Holland. And we were part of the English First Army. Don't ask me why we were up there, why were we part of the British Army. All I know is we had to smoke their cigarettes and eat a lot of beans and tea. It wasn't like our old Army food, but it was food, it was okay. Well, we went through it was Holland then, now it's Netherlands. We went through Holland, and I described some of that last time when I was here, and I won't bore you with that. But Holland, flatter than this floor. The highest part in Holland was a dike, about 5 feet high, probably. So we're on this flat land, and that's where we were fighting, village to village, town to town, going across those open plains to get over to the next town. It was different. So then we pretty well took care of Holland. We went through there pretty good. So where are we going now? Well, they start moving us south. Now we're going east, we're going towards Germany. So they start moving us south. And we did a lot of walk, got on trucks, took us down on trucks, then we'd walk again. And we got into the Hurtgen forest, and we thought, thank God we're not in Holland. Flat, no cover, nothing, we were right out there in the open. We're now in the Hurtgen forest, a little different. And we got tanks around. Oh, that's good. Tanks are good to have. Not good. The reason they're not good, they draw fire. They draw fire like you won't believe. And the poor old infantry guys, we're in the ground in a hole somewhere, but these tank guys are sitting in there and get that tank the hell out of here. The worst part of the Hurtgen forest was out there in the flatlands of Holland. If a shell landed, it went down on the ground and went out. And if you were lucky enough to be flat on the ground, that shrapnel was kind of zinging over your head. Now we're in the forest, something new. They start dropping their artillery on us and mortars on us, except they're not going into the ground, they're going off in the trees. It's called tree bursts. They come down, bam, now they're about 10, 15 feet, 20 feet above you, and they're going all over. And said, we got to get the heck out of here. Get us back up in Holland. At least we can dig a hole. You can't dig a hole in the woods. There's roots and everything else. Let's get out of here. Well, we didn't stay there very long. We kept moving south. And we're getting down now where the fighting is really getting heavy. So as we're moving down through there, it just happened to be, we're moving at night, Timberwolves, night fighters, Timberwolves. We're moving at night. Somebody mentioned, do you know that tomorrow is November 11th? How do they know? I didn't know if it was Tuesday or Monday or whatever day it was. How did this guy know it was the 11th? And I thought, wouldn't that be a coincidence? We could end the war tomorrow, and all the kids would have to remember in school is one date. November 11th, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the end of World War I. Now it could be the end of World War II. Save the kids. Well, that was a joke. Nobody laughed, of course, but that was... Okay, so we're marching down. And as we're getting down there, you know, when you're out there, you get so little information. Any information you get is rumor. But we got information that we were coming down to replace, get this, the Big Red One, the 1st Division, the most famous division in the whole Army, the Big Red One, 1st Cavalry. And they are down there trying to take a hill outside of Stolberg called Hill 287. And they've been there 2 weeks. and they haven't been able to take that hill. The hill is part of the Siegfried Line. So I have to point this out because the Siegfried Line was the last defense the Germans built, figuring if they ever have another world war and the French are going to be coming at us, we're going to have something that'll stop them before they get to the Rhine River. And they built this. And it was very similar to what you found on Normandy. The big bunkers. They claimed that they were 3 stories deep, solid concrete, reinforced, down in the ground. And from there were ditches going out all over and out to pillboxes. There were pillboxes all along the top of this hill, dragon teeth all around there so the tanks couldn't get up. So it was a formidable place. Now, why is this so important? 287, it wasn't a mountain, but it was a big hill. It's kind of like western Pennsylvania, those big rollers. Why is it important? Well, it controls so many different areas. It was so high up, everything you could see in all directions from up there. It was the perfect place for a defense. And again, since the Germans had time to build this thing and man it and arm it, it was ready. When we heard, this was, every time I say this, when we heard the big red one could not take this hill in 2 weeks, and now we're coming in there, oh, geez, this does not sound very good. All right, so we get down there, and Hill 287, there's this long row as far as you could see, and this was on the end. We were down at the end where this huge bunker was and all the pillboxes. This big valley was over here. So 1st Battalion, 414th Regiment, was going to be the first to attack. We were the 3rd Battalion of the 414, and we were backup. So they were going to be the first there. They are the attack force. We're behind them, and if they take that hill, we go up and set up a defensive position. They got to get up there, though. Our position, I was in Company M. Heavy mortars, 30 caliber, water-cooled machine guns, and 81 millimeter mortars. I was a gunner, first gunner on a old World War, believe it or not, old World War I machine gun. But then they tacked on A1. Now, what was the A1? Well, that was make it different from World War I. It was the same damn thing with a big water can that you carried around, which we left behind after about 1 week. Nobody, who's going to carry about 1.5 gallons of water in a big steel can? Give that guy a box of ammunition. He can't be, okay, get rid of that thing. If we fire enough rounds to burn out that barrel, we got a spare barrel. We just pull that baby out and throw another one in there. Don't hook this hose up there. Come on, this isn't trench warfare any longer. All right, so our job was they took us out and they put us up this, now again, this is this big valley, and they put us up on about halfway up the other side. These are the 30 caliber machine guns. Our job was to fire overhead fire on the top of that ridge where all those bunkers were and everything, just to keep them pinned down. When we're starting to move up there, we're just spraying that hilltop. Of course, they're sitting underneath that concrete bunker and sitting underneath those pillboxes, but nevertheless, if they're out, they're not going to be walking around up there because we're spraying that hill pretty good. So we get them up there. Now, this is on the 15th of November. How do I know that? In Ohio, what's November 15th in Ohio? First day of hunting season. Oh, so I'm telling these guys, we're setting this up, and I was, hey, geez, if I was back home, boy, I'd be out there hunting tomorrow, rabbit, pheasant. And the guys, oh, come on. Yeah, you know, I tell them these stories. When I was in school, when you were in the 8th grade, if you brought a hunting license and an excuse from your mother, you could get the day off to go hunting. Okay, are you kidding? No. 8th grade, I said, from the 8th grade to the time I graduated, every November 15th, I'm out there. We're hunting. So this is kind of ironic that here we are on the 15th, and we're going to go hunting a little bigger game. Okay, so the first thing, just at daylight, I don't know what the time was. it was just, they're on the about same time zone as we are. So they're about in the same latitude. So their weather, their time is everything that we had back here in Ohio. So, okay, the first thing is we hear this roar. Holy smoke, what is this? A-25 attack bombers. We had never seen an attack bomber. And they're coming in at maybe about 1,000 feet. About 4, and then another 4 behind them, and 4 behind, I don't know how many. And as they're coming in, those 500-pounders are just dropping right along that ridge. And we're thinking, why couldn't the first take that hill? My God, those guys are blasting that thing to smithereens. They're just wave after wave. Okay, then they're gone, and as soon as they were gone, our artillery started opening up on them. And they were just blasting the top of that hill all the way as far as we could see both ways. So we're thinking, holy smokes, I hope those guys get up there, because I don't think I want to try. So we opened fire. They said, okay, start opening fire. So we're blazing away 1,200 yards. They're just arching over there like you're watering your garden with their garden hose. And we're just spraying that hill and put another box in there and to show you how dumb. We're kind of kidding around. Boy, this is pretty neat. Man, that company commander, he was up that hill so fast. Who's doing that? Who's doing that? Oh, he went berserk. We were having a little fun. You don't have fun. This isn't, oh, he chewed this out. And who did he chew out? The first gunners, or the guys down there pulling the trigger. Ammo guys are sitting there. Boy, that old captain was right in my ear. Whew. Anyhow, so we're blazing away, and we got the signal, ceasefire. All right, ceasefire. Here they come. Here comes 1st Battalion coming up that hill. And of course, it's all riflemen, machine gunners like me. We come behind because we're not an offensive weapon. We're defense. We can't. I got a 36-pound tripod draped over my shoulder. My first gunner's got a 30-pound gun that he carries. So we're not in that first wave, nor were they. So up the hill they go. And as soon as they started up that hill, all hell broke loose from up above. We hadn't heard a sound up there before. Naturally, there was nobody to shoot at until our guys started going up there. And when we started going up there, they were mortars, artillery, small arms fire, machine gun fire, just burying that hill, just sweeping it. But we could see guys going up, jumping from crater to crater. That's how they were making it up there, just going from shell craters. And then there was some cover up there, some brush and a couple of old beat up houses. So you see guys darting around, but you couldn't really follow them. You couldn't tell if they were getting shot or not. All of a sudden, guys that dived are diving in those craters. Pretty soon, we saw some of the guys say, "Are guys coming back?" No. Yeah. I saw a guy over here. They're coming back. They're coming back is right. They had a retreat off that hill. They were getting slammed. So they're back down in the valley. So, okay, that's the 15th. On the 16th, the next day, the 3rd Battalion of the 104th were the attack. This is my battalion. And they want the machine gunners and everybody to go up that hill, because when you get up on the top, you got to set up defense, and you got to have, so, okay, we're all down the bottom of that hill, dark, waiting to go up, which is nerve-wracking, just sitting there waiting. The big red one couldn't take this hill. Geez, oh man, the first battalion couldn't take this hill. How in the hell are we ever going to take this hill? Okay, next thing we know, same thing. A-25 bombers went in there, just bombed the heck out of that hill. Our artillery went to the gate, same thing, just blasting that thing. And another, 2nd Battalion, they're back there with the machine guns shooting overhead cover. Okay, so we got the word, move out. So we start out going up that hill. Of course, there's nobody shooting at us now. they're all our guys shooting that way. So we start going up there, and then pretty soon they got the word, no more machine gun fire, because our guys are going up there. I can't even describe it. It was bedlam. Guys are running and diving, and guys are getting hit, and you guys are getting shot, and everybody's just scrambling around. There's the top of that hill. Oh my God, that's 400 yards up there. We just kept going. The way we go was to go from these craters to crater. Just run up there, dive. I got this damn tripod on my back, and every time I dive in there, that old tripod like pins me to the ground. That thing is, I was 5'9½", 150 pounds, I guess. So we're going up there. I dove into, I don't know how many. I dove into one, landed right on top of a dead German. And he had been dead for some time. His face was black, and the odor was, I've never smelled anything like that in my life. I start retching. I thought, oh, that's all I need. Start vomiting, retching on this hill. I can't believe this. Well, I crawled out of there and didn't vomit, but I couldn't breathe. But I kept my eye on our sergeant. Old Sergeant Hatlin, Bob Hatlin, good old Swede from Minnesota. I watched guys. I got to see somebody. I got to follow somebody because it's confusing. There are guys all over. I don't know who's who and what's what. There's Sergeant Hatlin. Everybody's kind of going up the hill. I look at this Hatlin. He's kind of angling across. Well, I'm sticking with you, Bob. He would go into a hole, and I would do it. That's the way we kept working our way up and working our way up. And we got down. It's hard to describe, but this big long hill tapered down into the town, well, city of Stolberg, and that's where we were heading for the end. I don't know how he did it, how he decided that. I don't know if he just did it on instinct or what, but he kept angling up instead of going straight up. And we were following him and following him, and the next thing you know, we're on top of that damn hill. But we're on the very end, but we're up there. How many are up there? 5. 5 of us. Hatlin, me, Fred Smith, well, names don't matter, but 5 of us. We got up the top. The bunker is about, I'd say, 300 feet to our right. There's a pillbox over here, pillbox over there. No shooting. We got up there, we said, I guess our guys took this hill. The Germans aren't even shooting. Hey, this is great. We're up there kind of celebrating. Crack out a K ration. We're sitting up there. We don't set the gun up. The tripod's just sitting there. The gun isn't on the tripod. We just thought, man, oh man, we took this damn hill that the 1st Army, 1st Division couldn't take. We were ecstatic until somebody said, how come there's nobody else up here? Yeah, you're right. Where are the rest of the GIs? We don't see any. Don't hear any shots, perfectly quiet. What the heck is going on? So we finally determined that I don't think we took this hill. I don't see any other GIs around. We're sitting down there at the end, at the very top. And the bunkers like this, the pillboxes, we're on the top. So what are we going to do now? Oh, my God. So underneath this, I didn't tell you, that next to this bunker was a Tiger tank that had been knocked out. And they were using it like a pillbox. That's got that big 88 on the front of it. And what they did, they excavated underneath the treads, and they packed that dirt all around the treads, and they were using that. That's where the two gunners, the gun on the tank, would stay underneath there. And it was just as good as one of those pillboxes. Those Tiger tanks were, they were just solid iron and steel. So somebody said, we're just sitting out there like kind of dead ducks. And so Sergeant Hatlin said, let's get underneath that tank until dark, and then we'll go down in dark. In the dark, we can't go back in the daylight. So we all crawl underneath this tank. I'm slightly claustrophobic. And I look underneath that tank, and the first couple of guys, and they're like Oscar Mayer hot dogs, like this underneath this thing. I said, I can't get under there. I just can't get underneath that tank. So I just kind of hung around on the outside. So I was the last guy to go in. The four of them are in there. I'm the last guy. I'm on the end. And so there we were, sitting in there and becoming more nervous by the hour. Now we were up there in the morning. I don't know. I couldn't even guess the time. 11, 12. I don't know. But it was, it was during the day. So here we are underneath this tank. And Sergeant Hatlin, I don't know where he was underneath there somewhere, but he said, my name was Gaab, but I was Gaab in the Army. Hey, Gaab, you're out the end there. Crawl out there and see what's going on. See what you can find out. See what you can discover. Oh, thanks a lot for that. So I said, well, give me your M1. The only guy who carried a rifle was the squad leader, or was the section leader, that was Hatlin. The rest of us, the ammo bearers carried carbines, and the gunners carried 45s. My weapon was a 45. I couldn't hit that wall with that 45. I made expert with the M1. I made expert with the machine gun. For whatever reason, I could not shoot that damn 45 at a silhouette target about from here to the back there. I'm blasting in the ground, and I think the only reason that I passed, that I qualified, is the guy that was judging that silhouette target had a 45 caliber pencil. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, he hit two of them. He's got two in there. I'm sure that's the only way I ever got in there. I couldn't. And I'm thinking, I'm not going out there on top of Stolberg Hill with a 45 that I couldn't hit a wall with. So I got the M1 and crawled out. And about from here to that wall, maybe a little bit further, I'm crawling along my hands and knees. Looked like it was chicken hutches or rabbit hutches. They were off the ground about this high. And they had little screen doors. Most of them were all smashed, but there were about 2 or 3 that were still upright. So I crawl over there, don't see anything, can't hear anything. So I get over there and put the M1 on top of that hutch. And looking around, and dead silence. The thing that impressed me was, God, it was so noisy when we were coming up here. It was like bedlam. Now it's quiet. Look around, look back. Look at that old pillbox. Here's somebody coming up the back side of that pillbox, just sliding up there. And there wasn't any sun, but the light was on the back of him, so he was a silhouette. And I thought, is that one of our guys? Maybe that's one of our guys. He's kind of lost like we are. And I was almost ready to yell, hey, go. Oh, look, why is that guy sliding up there? He got to the top, gets out a pair of binoculars, and he's looking down. Well, that can't be one of our guys with the binoculars looking down. That's got to be a German who's looking down to see what's going on. There I am. I guess I was 19 then. Got that old M1 out. I'm on the top of this thing. I kept saying, you made expert. Okay. I'm tacked that thing, and there he is sitting up there sideways. And I thought, geez, I gotta shoot this guy, I guess. Where am I going to shoot? I'll aim for his head. No, you hit the helmet, it'll glance off. He's up there. I think I'll aim right underneath his armpit, because that's going this way. And I did. I kind of took a couple of breaths and kind of calmed down, and again, I got a bench rest with that M1, and I shot it. He just flew off the side of that pillbox, just gone. And then I'm starting to think, God, was that could that have been one of our guys? I was going nuts. Oh, no, that can't. Oh, yes, it is. No, it is. No. And I look over, and behind the bunker, again, about 200 feet, 3 maybe, coming out the back of that bunker in a trench, are Germans coming out one after the other, right behind each other, and they're in there, and all I can see is from their shoulders up, and they're just one after, and they are moving. Well, I still got 7 more rounds. So I lay over there, and you can't follow them. They're going too fast. I just aimed above the top of that ridge, or that ditch, and bam. And when I'd shoot, all the heads would go down. And in 3 seconds, 4 seconds, they'd all be back up again. Whew, away they go. Bam, down they go. Twice I shot, and there was a longer gap between when they started up again. And I keep thinking, I bet I hit a guy. That's, he's down, and they're either stepping over him or they're carrying him or doing something. But there were 2 out of the 7 shots. Well, if I'd had a hand grenade, I could have lobbed a hand grenade in there. We didn't carry hand grenades. So I crawled back to the tent, to the tank, and those guys are saying, "What the hell are you shooting at? What are you shooting for? My God, you can." I said, "You won't believe this." I said, "I shot somebody crawling up that pillbox," and I said, within 30 seconds, these Germans are pouring out of the back of that thing, and they're gone. They're just going over the hill. Oh, geez, now what? Once they find out there's only one guy shooting, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to come right back up there. Let's get that guy out of there, get whoever it was, get him out of there. So we got to stay here, because getting up, if we get up, we're dead, because we got to run all the way down that hill. So we stayed there till dark, nervous like you wouldn't believe nerves. So we're going down. Now there's another ticklish thing. That whole thing was mined, anti-personnel mines. So if you did find a flat spot up there, then dive into a hole. Go from that hole, another hole. We're working our way down. We're getting down to our line, and as we're getting closer and closer, we hear, "Halt! Who goes there? What's the password?" Our guys. "We don't know the password. We've been up on that hill all day." Yeah. We're talking, we're from the Company M, 414th. And Lou Gehrig plays for the Yankees, and Babe Ruth, and we're okay. We're one of you guys. Okay, come in, one at a time. So we started going down. Hatlin went first. He said, "I'll go down and explain everything to him." Well, he did, and they said, "Okay, come on down. One at a time, but come on down." So, okay, the 5 of us get down there. And would you believe that lieutenant who was calling us in there, he said, "Now, I'll tell you what, you guys can help us out. We can give you guard duty tonight." And the worst thing, if you were in the infantry and you were in the field, the worst thing, well, not the worst is getting killed. Really bad was standing guard. It's dark. It's dark at 6 o'clock. You're on 2, you're off 4. You're on 2, you're off 4 all night long. And we only had 4 guys. So we were just rotating 4 guys. And that was just horrible. You could hardly get to just about, and where are you sleeping? You're sleeping on the ground, sleeping in a hole, sleeping certainly not in a bed. And so he said, "We'll put you out here." No. We got to find our outfit. They're probably wondering where we are. We're probably wondering, they're probably missing us, wondering what the heck happened to those 5 guys. So we just walked away from them. And we probably went about 200 feet, and there's an old barn that had been blasted down. And we looked inside, and there's an old hay pile inside. Everybody said, "Let's go." Inside that barn, in the hay. Oh, man, no 2 on, no 4 off, and a nice warm bed, and we're alive. And that was spin the beads time. The next morning we get up and we go back. Where's Company M? Well, that's down here. Finally we got back. But before we did, we kind of huddled up and said, "Now when we go back, what are we going to tell them? Are we going to tell them there's nobody up on Stolberg Hill on 287? They all took off? What if they all came back at night? If you go back and tell them, don't worry, tomorrow when you go up there, you don't have to worry. There's no Germans up there." Oh, yeah? They go up there and boom, they're all back again. So the 5 of us, we didn't vote. We decided we wouldn't tell anybody. We would just go back and just kind of mingle in again, and that's the way it was. Nobody said, "Where were you? What did you do? Who did?" No. Hi, what you doing? Okay, goodbye, that's enough. We came back, A couple guys said, where the hell you guys been? Well, we were up there. We kind of got lost on the top of the hill there, and we couldn't get back, and we're back here now. We never talked to an officer. No officer ever came to us and said, come on, tell us what happened. So we kept mum, nothing. Next day, this is now the 16th of November. The next day, this 1st Battalion is going up. And we were going to be, our battalion was going to be the backup. That 1st Battalion went up that hill, same thing, bomb, 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 A-25s just knocking out. They go up that hill, nobody up there. Nobody fired a shot. They walk up the top of that hill. 1st Battalion took 287 all by itself. And that's the way it ended. We never told anybody, nobody ever asked. But the history books say that on the 17th of November, the 104th Infantry, 414th, they didn't even say battalion, the 414th took Hill 287, conquered it, and we are up there now. So our satisfaction was, after all of this, as we look back at it, and I corresponded with Hatlin up in Minnesota every year on Christmas card, write a big long Christmas card, and we kind of mentioned something, and we both agreed. You know, there were no awards, no thank yous, no shaking hands, no medals, but we had the gratification of knowing 5 guys were up there and took Hill 287. And that's the memory we live with. And to this day, I don't regret 1 minute of it. We took Hill 287, and I wrote this article. It was in our Timberwolf Howl a long time. We were doing war stories. I put that in there. Nobody ever corrected it. Nobody ever said anything. Nobody ever wrote and said, geez, that was pretty neat. How come you guys didn't get some medal? Nothing. So that was it. The history books, all this December 17th as the day that Hill 287 fell, and we knew it was November 16th. And I'm here to tell you that, and it sounds like, where did this guy dream that up? It's a fact. That's the way it happened. And that's the end of that story. If you have questions, you have time or you close up here in 10 minutes, right? Oh, okay. Well, if anybody has questions.
Did you ever go back?
Wait. Oh.
Weren't you afraid you might get killed by friendly fire? Since there were only 5 of you guys up there, they might send in bombers.
Well, yeah, that was the other thing. You know, if they come up tomorrow and we're still up here, those A-25s go over the top of us. You know, we're in a rock and a hard place. You know, what do? Stay up here? Germans on one side, Americans down there, going to shoot us if we come back down. It was a dicey kind of a situation.
Yeah.
Did you ever go back to Stolberg Hill?
The 104th started taking battleground tours, and I don't know how long ago was that. Does any of you guys remember how long that, when they started? But every 2 years, they'd go back and take a battleground tour, and then they'd do something else special, take a boat ride down the Rhine. And I went back. My wife passed away, and I thought, well, maybe this is a good chance for me to go back. And I went back, and they were going to talk about Stolberg Hill and the attack. And we were on this tour bus. And the guide kept telling us, now, if anybody on this bus has a story to tell about where you are and what you're doing, tell it. And they would do that. All the way through Holland and all the way back. The guy said, tell a story about where they were pinned down and telling us. So I said, I got a story to tell about 287. The guy said, okay, we're going right up on that ridge. And we did. I'm expecting to see that big bunker. My God, that thing was a fortress. No pillboxes. No bunkers, just those dragon teeth that were still out there. And they stopped on top of the hill, and they said, we got one guy here that was on top of this hill, along with 4 other guys, and they were the only Americans up here. And everybody looks around, oh yeah? Tell them the story. So I gave him a brief story of that up there. But there we were standing on there, and I almost broke down. I was standing there, God, that's right, we were here. 5 guys.
What happened after 287 while you were in the combat zone?
Okay, well, right after Hill 287, that's when we start moving east. The next thing we were pushing for the Rhine River. And we got down to the Rhine River and then crossed, and then of course then it was all over. But that was the kind of the central point. We got to get by Stolberg and get by the Siegfried line. It wasn't just Stolberg. That thing went up way all, I don't know how many miles. But they had the breakthrough there. So once you get a breakthrough, boom, you're through, and then you spread out and you got it. Yes?
You mentioned Dragon Tooth.
They were concrete pyramids with the top cut off. They were staggered around, and tanks couldn't go over them. They were buried in the ground, and a tank would ride up there, and they had them placed so that you couldn't get around them, you couldn't dodge them. They were tank traps. You got up there and you got in those dragon teeth, boy, you were done.
Were you ever near Halle, Germany, Halle?
Been there, did that.
I was in the 106th, and on the 26th of April, we were being marched by the Germans, and 5 guys from the 104th came through to us and said, "Don't do anything stupid. We will be here tomorrow to get you out." And they came back from the 104th, they came back on the 27th of April. That's the day I was free. Thank you, 104.
Yeah. And that was about the last big battle we had, because that was just shortly after the Russians. By the way, what do I know, a sergeant. I still think our outfit met the Russians first. That was the big thing. What division who's going to meet the Russians? And some other division further south from us claimed that they said it was. But I swear, the Russians were on one side of the Elbe River, and we were on the other side for about 6 days. There was a bridge across there, and they had more guards and tanks in there, and boy, we were told, do not cross that bridge. Do not let them cross that. No fraternization with the Russians. So that was, but we ended up there a week before the war was officially declared over. And, but it was over, and who cares? Who cares if you were the one? Yes?
I went back over there in 2007, and that was at Torgau. And we went to Torgau. That was the main office for a man by the name of Oshlensky. He had track of all the work commandos of POWs in Germany. And his office was in Torgau. We were there in 2007. That bridge was still lying in the Elbe River. It was in the Russian territory, and they just left the bridge out. I don't know when it came out, but it was still in the Elbe River in the year 2007.
Can I tell you a little sequel to the story? This is kind of interesting. The war ended there, and we're thinking occupation forces. Man, we're going to be living in big houses and a lot of castles. We're going to be up there and living high and finding that German wine and that German cognac and everything. Oh, this is in Fräuleins all over this is like dying going to heaven. We're going to be 1 week. Boom, pack up. Okay, pack up. Well, they're going to send us someplace else. Packed us up, put us on one of those 40 and 8 trains, and they're heading now west. Well, maybe we won't be in Germany. Maybe it'll be occupation force in France. Ooh, even better yet. Right straight through. We are mainlined right to the coast. We are on a ship. We are back home. We had 1 week furlough. Report to Camp San Luis Obispo in California. That camp is a training site for amphibious landings. And the greatest thing that could ever happen to a serviceman happened to us. When we were home, the war ended. So Harry Truman said, "Drop her." And the war ended, and I'm home when the war ended. Now, can you believe that? I got in a guy who had polio, so he was all crippled up, but he had a convertible. And he said, let's go down Cleveland tonight. I said, we'll never get down there. Yeah, we'll make it. Let's go down. We get back, I'm riding in this red convertible on the back, put the uniform on. I must have had 8 bottles of beer handed to me before we went 2 miles. Here, take this, take this. And we had, just a wonderful time down there. But San Luis Obispo was an amphibious training camp, and they told us then that we were going out there to take amphibious training because the 104th Infantry was slated for one of many divisions to land on Japan. And we were, I don't know where, but we were going to be doing another Normandy beachhead in Japan where they armed the kids and mothers and grandmothers and everybody else was over there. And it would have been not nice. But that ended, and here I am, still alive and vertical. Well, I'm surprised. The audience is, I can't believe the size of this thing, I feel very good about this.
Tell us a little bit about your military career. Where did you start and where did you do your training?
Oh, I did that the last time. And a lot of these guys were here and they heard all of that. And it was, I took you step by step. I was out there where we had the bayonet drill, that stuff. And so it would be a long story. And it's already been told, so.
Yeah, but a lot of us haven't heard it. Can you do those real quickly, maybe those 3? We've still got some time.
I think these guys, my guys that were at our 104th, well, you're going to have to hear it again, quickly.
Real quick.
All right, 18 years old, coming in there, country boy, and they interviewed me when I got drafted. I was not a hero. I didn't join anything. I waited for my number to be called, and then I was drafted. And okay, I can't resist this one. When they're interviewing you, where are you going to be placed in the infantry? And I did a little research on that. Not everybody carries a rifle. Not everybody's an infantryman walking. There's all kinds, engineers, artillery, everything. The chances are you might not be a rifleman. They interview me. What can you, 18 years old, what? Got any hobbies? No. I just like to hunt and fish. You like to hunt? Yeah. Yes, I hunt. What do you hunt? Oh, small game, rabbits, pheasants. Do you like guns? What are you going to say? No, I hunt with a spear. I don't hunt with a gun. I'm a spear hunter. Anyhow, that's how I got in there. And it was we're in basic training. I'm enjoying it. I was an only child, so I'm away from home, and I got used to my mom's not cooking finally after a couple of 3 weeks. But you're camping out, just like Boy Scouts, camping out, shoot those rifles. Man, this is a lot of fun. It's war, but it's, Jesus, bayonet training. They took us out there, put that bayonet on like World War I. Okay, guys, they got all these straw dummies out there where you parry the thrust, you butt stroke, face smash, and the long thrust. You do the long thrust. Now you got to get the picture of this. Do the long thrust. Make sure you turn that rifle a half a turn, because a lot of times suction keeps that blade in there. You can't pull it out. So just turn it when you pull it back out. It was like a miracle was happening. I know what this is all about. They're teaching us how to kill people. This isn't all fun and games, go down to rifle range and pop, pop, pop at a target and camping out and all that kind of stuff. That was the first big impression I had. Man, that really shook me. The second one is our first attack up in Holland. Again, we're machine gunners, we're behind. We're going to, as soon as they take that go across that field, take that next little village over there, we go in with the machine gun, set up, everything's all ready to go. First time in combat. Night comes, we're night fighters. Night comes, all of a sudden our guys go out. The next thing you know, it's brr, 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 boom, boom, boom. Holy crap. The Germans had that field covered with machine guns already placed in there where they had a field of fire about 3 feet off the ground. And that put everybody down. And as soon as everybody goes down that didn't get killed, the mortars and artillery stopped in. And they had that all scoped out beforehand. There was no need to call back and say left 2 clicks, right 2 clicks. And those guys got murdered. The dawn comes, our guys are starting to straggle back. Some guys had no helmets, no guns, some were bandaged up. But that was, so they said, okay, we're going to move out now. The Germans that pulled out, we're going to move forward. So we move forward, and we walk out. Here's this big flat field covered with dead American soldiers. The first time I saw a dead GI. Grotesque positions. They were all, I didn't count them, but they were all over that whole field. That was my second impression. Third one, this is months later, we took a town, I don't even remember which one it was. And when you took a town, the first thing you do is you get in a building, down in the basement, everybody's hunkered down in the basement, and you got your guards outside, but that's where you stayed. We're in this building, and they said, you know, we got some German prisoners upstairs. And I said, geez, I never saw a German, a live German up close. I'd see them shooting across there, but never, even, you know, the impression you always had of Germans, they were big, ugly guys, those SS guys, you know, so I got to go see them. So I go upstairs, and they had the 3 of them. First guy looked like he was about 35, 40. He was not. He was a happy prisoner. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't going, yeah, yeah, yeah. He just knew he was, I'm saved. I'm going back. They tell me they treat me pretty good. Thank God. Second guy, young. I don't know if he was SS or not, but he was, you could tell, this body language, this guy, he was angry. How did he get captured? Third guy is about 18 years old. I don't have a helmet on. He didn't have a helmet on. I had hair, kind of blonde. He had hair, kind of blonde. I had blue eyes. He had blue eyes. And we're standing about this far away from each other, and we're looking, I swear, we're looking at each other, and it's like he's saying, is this the guy that's trying to kill me? And I'm saying, is this the kid that's trying to kill me? It looks like we ought to be going down to the corner and getting a beer. I almost wanted to go up there and hug him, which would have been a disaster. So the MPs were there, hey, get out of here, get out of here. So they chased me down. But those were the 3 impressions of war I took home with me that are burned into my cerebrum. That's, you can't believe what and they're kind of funny. Blue eyes, blonde hair, look just like me. And I'm trying to kill that guy. Okay, I think we got to go. I heard the announcement, so we can't tell any more stories. Thank you.